General Motors have released their first 5-seat SUV based on the Ultium platform. It's called the Buick Electra and it looks pretty damn good, I've got to say. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking, great to see you. My name's Sam Evans and I'm coming to you from Melbourne in Australia. Thank you for tuning in. And albeit fully charged, the show that has, well, more electric cars and more stuff in the electric technology field than any other show in the world. I'll be there in March in Sydney, in London in April, and of course in San Diego in the United States in October. If you'd like to come to the Sydney event, there's a 10% discount code in the description below. I have a discount code for the other events later on in the year. Buick is about to launch the Electra E5. It's the brand's first big 5-seat SUV based on GM's Ultium platform. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the look of a lot of GM's cars. I think they're a bit generic, kind of a bit dated. However, I'm a big fan of this. GM's Buick brand is making its first electric large SUV, and it's coming out in China first. So a lot of people are not aware of this, but basically General Motors is a two-country or a two-region business. The majority of their car sales worldwide are now basically in China and in the US and Canada. That's basically General Motors. And I think actually, this sounds crazy, a lot of Australians are pretty bitter at General Motors because we used to sell GM vehicles here in Australia. GM pulled out, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people are angry, but the truth is, GM made in what some people believe is kind of a smart strategic move. They pulled out of a lot of countries where they were making losses in many different countries around the world. And they just went, you know what, enough. Let's stop doing that. Let's stop selling cars there. What's the point if we can't sell them at a profit? So GM is clearly focusing its Ultium electric vehicles on China and North America. Buick is about to launch the E5, which measures 4.9 meters long. So it's bigger than a Tesla Model Y, 1.9 meters wide and 1,655 millimeters high. The wheelbase is nearly 3 meters, 2,954 millimeters. So that's 192.6 inches long, 75 inches wide, and 65 inches tall. The wheelbase is 116.3 inches. Now, like I said, one size up from a Tesla Model Y. Personally, I think this size is awesome. I absolutely love the size of this vehicle. It's the kind of size that I think there's not many electric cars right now in this bracket. There's not many electric cars, to be honest, from General Motors anywhere in the world, period. So this is a pretty good start from the company. The truth is, General Motors does need the Chinese car market badly. It's a huge percentage of their global sales. Obviously, as I just explained, without the Chinese car market, they're in a lot of trouble. And the reality is, they're not really in a position to keep their sales in China because most of the vehicles, in fact, 95% of vehicles they currently sell in China are gasoline-powered vehicles. Now, it is true GM does have the side business with Wuling and, of course, SAIC, where they sell, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of small micro electric cars. Pretty small margins on those cars. Apparently, the three together make $24 per car. So they're making about $8 per car for GM themselves because they own 33% of the business. But they do get subsidies from the government. However, those subsidies are about to decrease. We don't know how much by exactly. Who knows? They might make only, $8 a car again. Well, now, if the subsidies do disappear, as some people are predicting they will. So GM needs to start making bigger EVs where they can make bigger profits, like this. The car apparently features Buick's new Pure Design concept that incorporates electrified design elements, including things like Buick's next generation virtual cockpit system, which is called VCS. It's a cockpit, apparently, as well as the next generation Super Cruise assisted driving system, which is it's kind of like Tesla's autopilot, but apparently nearly as good, but not quite, is what users are saying. And the Electra E5 will become a new value benchmark for smart all-electric SUVs, claim General Motors, meaning it's going to be very affordable. For it to become a value benchmark in this size category in China, it'd need to be priced at, well, really around $40,000 US. And I don't think that's going to happen. Doubt it. But you never know. It could be. It's possible. SAIC, who are basically building this car with General Motors. General Motors owns 50% of this joint venture between SAIC and GM. So basically in China, most of GM's cars they own 50% of. So they get 50% of the profits when they sell that car, if there is a profit. And the E5 will be launched in China within the next few months for sale, but it will be officially unveiled at the Guangzhou Auto Show, which is on soon. Originally, that show was actually scheduled for the 18th to the 27th of November, says CNF Post, but it was then postponed due to COVID concerns. Zero COVID lockdowns and, general hysteria going on in China. A lot of people obviously don't agree with this in China, so it's causing a bit of an issue for the automotive industry, having to cancel auto shows, having to close down their factories, etc. Last week, the events organized announced that the show will resume between the 30th of December to the 8th of January. So what are the specs? Well, the Buick Electra E5 has a single motor, rear-wheel drive. Peak power is 180 kilowatt. It's about 260 horsepower. Top speed is 180 kilometers an hour. So it's about 115 mile per hour top speed. The battery pack. It's a lithium ternary battery. Of course, it's apparently meant to be GM's Ultium cells. Now, I don't know if that's actually true, but that's what the media in China are saying. But the battery there in China is actually made by CATL, which is the world's largest battery company. It makes total sense for General Motors to get CATL to build the batteries in China. However, it is actually a joint venture between SAIC and CATL. So SAIC are a Chinese-owned automotive company, which basically means that 50% of the profits that GM make on every car they sell in China, well, not every one, but the ones made by SAIC goes to the Chinese government. So yeah, the Chinese government does profit from General Motors in China directly. Obviously, indirectly, everyone has to pay taxes, but also directly through direct sales. So some of the features that I think are pretty cool about this car is, well, aside from the design, which looks good in my opinion, is the closed front and hidden door handles. My car is the BYD Atto 3 electric car. Doesn't have these kinds of door handles. And I've got to tell you, the damn beeping in the car. Please, Atto 3 owners, tell me how to turn off these systems. I've tried to turn them off. It still sometimes beeps at me like crazy, or it thinks car's going to hit me and it starts slamming its brakes on. Anyhow, another story for another video that's coming soon. As is this electric SUV, which I think would sell really well in the US market. In fact, I think there's a good chance it will sell in the US market because more than likely GM are going to basically sell this exact same variant with, of course, some differences such as GM making the batteries with LG Chem in the US, in the United States and Canada pretty soon, probably within the next 6 months. That's my prediction. It's my guess. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. As always, my friends, have a great day. Bye-bye.